Have you ever noticed that the more your business grows, the more it relies on you? You hire, you delegate, you work harder, yet somehow everything still comes back to you. And if you don't work, the business doesn't work. Well, I've helped countless 6, 7 and 8-figure business owners fix this exact problem so that their business becomes scalable, exitable, and runs without relying on them. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to systemize your business in just 12 weeks, and then how to use those systems to scale your business without you doing everything. Now, to do this in 12 weeks, we need a 12-week plan, because without a plan, you will end up stretching this out to take all year, and in reality, it'll never get done because it becomes one of those, we'll do it after this busy period or next quarter projects that mysteriously never happens. So this is the exact plan I give to clients, and we're going to break it down week by week. To start, look at this bar chart. The tall bar here is the number of hours business owners think they have to execute high leverage important work. But this tiny bar over here is the number of hours you actually have once you subtract Slack messages, team questions, small fires, admin, and all that unexpected noise that hijacks your day. And if you look at it, you really don't have that much time for doing the important work or even building systems. So how on earth are you meant to get time to work on building them? Now, you could technically just go and try to work an extra 2 hours a day, but I wouldn't recommend that, because quite frankly, what I see with clients all the time is you'll end up with 2 extra hours spent dealing with whatever is already taking up your entire day, all those fires and meaningless tasks, just to expand to fill the time you allocate to them. So instead, what you need to do is systemize your personal operations so you stop wasting time on stupid shit that does not matter. Now, how do you do that? Well, one of the best ways to do this is in week 1, you want to audit all the tasks that you do. I recommend using the EADD framework. So go for every task you do. If you can eliminate it without disrupting the business, do so. If you can automate it, do so. Or if you can delegate it, do so. If you can't eliminate, automate, or delegate the task, you do it yourself. Now, how you eliminate, automate, and delegate depends entirely on your team, your model, your business, your bottlenecks, and your capacity. So I can't help you with that in a YouTube video, unfortunately, but the important thing here is you remove a ton of useless tasks that you should not be doing and that take up a ton of your time. And what you'll be left with are all the tasks you have to do each week. And then you want to take these and turn them into your standard week, where you take the tasks in the do section and you assign them to a set day of the week to create structure and clarity for each day. Because this way, instead of knowing in the back of your mind, oh, I have to do this task at some point and then forgetting about it, trying to cram it in, being stressed, etc., now it's clear when you do what, because your week is structured. So you look at your standard week, you plan tomorrow based on that structure. Now, this is incredibly simple, I get it, right? But these 2 steps get business owners back around 10 hours a week right away. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but that's the average. Now, of course, if you want your business to become scalable, you still have to systemize your business. So how do you do that? Well, that's what you're going to do in weeks 2 to 4. And first, here's something that might shock you, right? An SOP, or automation, is not a system. They are components of systems. A system is a machine which takes an input, processes it, and gives you an output. It gives a consistent result. And I'm telling you this because most entrepreneurs think they've built systems when all they've done is create documents, and then they wonder why nothing's changed and why nobody follows those documents. So when it comes to mapping your systems, every business has a number of core functions, each with a set goal. So you have marketing, where the goal output is to generate leads. Sales, where the goal output is to turn leads into customers. Operations, which aims to deliver your product or service. And then you have finance, which essentially maximizes your cash flow and profitability. Now, don't get me wrong, some bigger businesses will have more functions like HR, etc., but every single business has those 4 essential functions. What you want to do is first write out each function in your business. I recommend doing this in a flowchart-like software such as Canva Whiteboard, but you can use whatever you want. The tool doesn't matter. But here's the magic once you do this, okay? When it comes to your business, there are things you do. Tasks, right? Because that's all your business is. Quite simply, your business is a series of tasks that you do, which these tasks help you produce a certain result. These tasks are processes in your systems. So every single task in your business will align with the goal of one of the functions. For example, if you run ads, the goal of that task is to generate leads. Therefore, it is a process in your marketing system and goes under the marketing function in your flowchart. You need to sort every single task that is done in your business under the function in your business with which it aligns with. Now, if a task does not, fit under a function, you've either sorted it wrong, missed out a function, or most likely that task is useless. You can just, stop doing it, throw it off to the side. And it would really surprise you how common that is. Like we tend to pick up tasks over the years, do them really for no reason. So just keep that in mind. Once you do this, you can see your entire business, how it flows from start to finish. So you can see at a glance all the things you do to get leads, all the things you do to sell to those leads, all the things you do to deliver what you sell. And this will give you so much fucking clarity and will completely change how you run your business forever, because now you can see your entire business in a simple and clear way, which allows changes and improvements to be simple. You can see, oh, we do nothing for marketing. No wonder we don't get any leads and we're struggling to grow. Or we actually don't do a lot to fulfill clients. No wonder we have high churn. So you can look at the map, see what you need to stop doing, see what you need to start doing, see what you need to change. And what once felt super complex in your head is now super clear and simple. But even once you map your systems, there's another problem that'll hit you immediately that makes your systems useless and keeps you as a bottleneck if you don't fix it. So let me show you how to fix it. Now, one of my past clients had this exact problem, okay? They had a full systems map. Everything was mapped out entirely. It was super clear, super simple, but he was still the one fixing every mistake, making every decision, doing every task. And when he came to me with a problem, I knew what it was straight away, right? The team did not have clarity. And when your team doesn't have clarity, it basically means whenever they're unsure, they escalate the task, decision, whatever it is, straight back to you. And that's exactly how you become the bottleneck, which is exactly why you stay reactive, overwhelmed, permanently stuck in the day-to-day, because nobody can do anything without you, which obviously makes you then think, oh, I'm the only one who can do anything. Delegation, systems, all these things don't work. And first off, that's obviously just bullshit, right? But secondly, it's because you've not made your expectations clear. This is a rule I give to clients all the time. You cannot expect people to rise to your expectations if you have not made your expectations clear. So the best way to fix this is to spend weeks 4 to 7 making SOPs. These are essentially you documenting how you do a certain task or process so that somebody else can just follow that SOP, do that task exactly how you want them to do it and make decisions without you, because SOPs are essentially you saying, here are my expectations for the task, here's how decisions are made, the way it should look, and how exceptions are handled. So for every single task in your systems map, go through and make an SOP for that task, right? Now, most business owners do mess up SOPs, which is why I built an SOP AI as one of the AI tools that my clients in the Mastery Operating System get. Now, how it works is you essentially answer a few questions, it spits you back a fantastic SOP in a few minutes, rather than you taking a few hours to make it. So to save you a bunch of time and headache, click the link in the description below. You can get it for free. By the way, if you're watching this and realizing, holy shit, this is literally my business, and if I don't fix this now, I'm going to spend another year being the bottleneck and holding my business back and it relying entirely on me, then there is a link in the description below where you can apply to work with me and install the Mastery Operating System inside your business so that it can scale without relying on you. But SOPs are useless if you don't do one specific thing, and it's the biggest reason delegation fails. So look at this, right? These small bars represent questions, decisions, and uncertainties coming from each part of the business. Marketing sends a few, sales sends a few, operations sends a few, finance sends a few, and individually they look tiny, like it's only 2 emails from marketing. That'll just take 5 minutes to deal with. But when you stack them together, and when you realize that it's never 5 minutes because of all the rabbit holes that you end up falling down and the mental tax of context switching, well, all of that uncertainty forms a single massive spike that hits you in the bloody face, and it's why so many entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed and dragged into everything that their team should be able to deal with, right? So in week 7, you're going to fix this by listing out your team members. Then you go through your systems map and you make sure every process and system has one name beside it, okay? That person is the person responsible for that process or system, which essentially means they're responsible for ensuring it gets done, that problems are solved, and that all the data is tracked. Now, when you're doing this, for it to work, it is crucial you only have one person responsible for each thing, as if more than one person is responsible, no one is, and both people will blame the other person for not doing it and it causes a pile of headache. But one person can be responsible for multiple things. For example, the person in charge of your marketing system can also be responsible for every process in your marketing system. However, when you're doing this, you need to consider capacity here, as if someone is responsible for too much, they'll be spread thin, not be able to do their work properly, and you'll blame them for underperforming, when in reality it's your fault, you gave them too much to do. Of course, this is largely individual because, some people have just much higher capacity than others, but it is something that you do need to consider. And this gives you the perfect insight into how reliant your business is on you, because what you might find here is you're either responsible for a ton of things in your business. It's your name beside a lot of processes, or you're not going to be responsible for that much. Either way, it is completely fine because this gives you clarity on what parts of the business depend on you and therefore what you need to delegate and get off your plate, which is exactly how you get things off your plate to stop you being the bottleneck so you can finally focus on those high leverage tasks only the business owner can do. Because then in weeks 8 to 10, what you need to do is go through your entire systems map, explain to everyone what the responsibilities on the map are, give them the SOPs for the tasks, walk them through the systems and all the rest, but then look at what you're still responsible for and decide what to delegate. Obviously, for some things you might have to hire, right? And so they can be longer term. But in that case, make a plan for delegation and then follow that plan. But if you do have a team, you'll be able to get a lot of tasks off your plate right away. Now, we do have delegation systems in the MOS, which I give to clients to actually ensure delegation works and doesn't just cause you more headache, but also systems that show you what to delegate first based on your time, your bottlenecks, your team capacity, or if you need to hire for certain roles and all those other things, right? So if you're interested in those systems, you can click the link in the description below to apply to work with me. But by the end of the week 10, right, you'll have delegated a ton of tasks. You'll have freed up so much of your time and mental bandwidth to focus on those important high leverage tasks that actually scale the bloody business. And by now you're probably going to be thinking, fuck, systems are pretty amazing, right? But here's the thing, they're useless if you don't know how well they're working. Like, see, when I first started building systems a few years back, I would build them and then I would wonder, like, why aren't these working? Why aren't they changing my life forever? And well, it was because I didn't track the damn data of the systems. So in weeks 10 to 12, for each function or systems in your map, create a simple spreadsheet which you can use to track the data for that system and to also track employee performance. You then want a business scorecard, which essentially shows you the big picture view of your entire business at a glance, because your systems essentially act as a pipe and water flows through that. And the goal is to get as much water out the other side as possible. But often there's things in the systems blocking the water, which means it's blocking your business growth. These scorecards let you see where the blockage is that's holding the water back. Then you can fix it to get more water out. Essentially, you can use these scorecards to make decisions, identify bottlenecks, and know exactly what's working and what's not working without guessing. Now, rather than show you how to build these right now, I'll just leave a link at the end of this video to a previous video of mine where I show you how to use and build scorecards. So make sure you check that out. But the goal here with systemizing your business is pretty simple. You get clarity in exactly what you're doing to get leads, to get customers, and to deliver what you sell. Over time, you remove your name from the systems map through delegation and hiring. This way, the business stops relying on you for the day-to-day stuff. Therefore, you're no longer the bottleneck because not everything has to go through you. And as a result, the business is now scalable. You can remove key man risk, which makes your business so much more valuable if you're looking to exit. And it makes it so much easier and less stressful to run because now you can scale your business without sacrificing your bloody soul and hating the business that you started, because your business can run without relying on you and you can make decisions based on data. Now, there's only so much I can go over in a YouTube video, and there's plenty of other things and other systems and operational strategies you need to install to make sure this happens smoothly, from team meeting systems that don't require you, to ensuring people use SOPs, to using data to make decisions, to making employees valuable so everyone is not just running the business, but also growing the business, to communication systems and task management systems and all these other things. So if you want to systemize your business so it can scale without relying on you in just 12 weeks, click the link in the description below to work with me. And if you want to know how to track data in your business, click this video on screen now. I'll show you how.